Prince's final Diddy recording played in court. Diddy's expression transformed when Prince's voice filled the courtroom. He lost his composure as the iconic artist's final recording boomed across the room. What in this recording made a music legend lose his cool? Hollywood is reeling from day 3 of this epic trial's shocking revelations. Cassie promised to get physical. That guy who did stuff with Diddy and Cassie says he saw him get rough. Don, we spoke about how the domestic charges aren't what he's on trial for, but they're stacking up, and I think the jury will take that into account. My first Diddy party was at Prince's house, so you want to go there to see Tyrese perform and Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher swing. This party is different from a Jamie Foxx party or any other celebrity party that wrangles a bunch of young women or guys or whatever, because Diddy didn't let you bring your security. Day 3 started like the 2 before it. Journalists fought for the best seats, celebrities entered through side doors, while legal teams practiced paper arrangement. It felt different this morning. Not only was the courtroom filled, all room corners had security guards. Normal for a high-profile case, right? Today, they twice the usual number. 4 officers stood behind Diddy's table, unlike prior days. A court insider told me they received special instructions that morning, but nobody explained why Diddy looked unaffected. He nodded at fans in the gallery in a well-tailored navy suit and smiled. His legal team shielded him and whispered strategy as they settled in. He appeared to be in control. He didn't see the odd prosecution table activity. 2 techs discreetly set up equipment lacking the first 2 days. They checked connections and whispered to the lead prosecutor, who kept looking at Diddy with eagerness. Something was coming, but only the prosecution knew. Rumors abounded. Later, a courtroom reporter told me people were texting from across the room, wondering what the prosecution would say. We all sensed it coming. After the regular steps, the judge paused to make an odd pronouncement. My courtroom requires composure regardless of the evidence presented today. He looked at the gallery before saying, any interruptions would be removed immediately. The prosecution's morning opening comments were thorough as usual. The previous day's testimony was evaluated to connect witnesses and evidence. Before the main prosecutor halted mid-sentence, it seemed ordinary. Your Honor, the prosecution wants to present key audio evidence recently certified by our forensic team. She brought a little black device to the bench. The defense promptly protested, alleging that notification of this evidence was inadequate. Diddy's attorneys argued passionately, but the judge sided with the prosecution. He said the discovery adequately exposed the evidence. The prosecution may proceed. Then it occurred. The prosecutor faced the courtroom and said what changed everything. Listen to Prince Rogers Nelson's last private tape before his death. The room froze. No more typing, journalists. Breathing echoed throughout. Prince, the musical legend, was ready to speak from the dead. Diddy's main attorney grabbed his arm. Diddy's face lost color so swiftly you could practically see it. His defense team huddled, muttering, while the prosecution attached their gadget to the courtroom audio system. The room's power changed before a note was played. Diddy and his legal team sensed something terrible was coming, as Diddy's eyes showed terror. Diddy may have done it. It sounds like I'm talking about consensus. I'm talking about criminal things. But would Diddy be so naive to think Prince may have cameras in his house? I'm trying to think like, if Prince has cameras and he's filming to get gossip on Diddy, I don't know. With all his cameras or found cameras, I feel like Diddy. Problems? That's unknown. Right. I knew he was health conscious. He was vegan. Alcohol wasn't his problem. I didn't know him, but he worked out. So that worried me because it made me think, wow, you do all these things to take care of yourself and die so young. The following was found in Prince's vault. Whispers filled the courtroom, the prosecutor said. Sitting people leaned forward. Journalists frantically typed on phones. It wasn't ordinary evidence. Prince spoke from beyond the grave. A prosecutor said the recording was made weeks before Prince's 2016 death. This was never for a public hearing. She stated Prince developed this as insurance for his actual experiences. A third-row woman covered her mouth and cried when Prince's voice initially sounded. I wasn't only shocked by his voice. It was his tone. Prince sounded worried. His deep conspiratorial voice contrasted with his strong theatrical demeanor. Why am I recording? I don't trust anyone anymore, Prince began. Clarity was excellent. You could hear him inhaling between sentences. He wasn't singing. He wasn't performing. Prince was at his most vulnerable. The next event transformed the courtroom environment. Prince named people, dates, and places, and Diddy was central. Diddy's Hamptons parties in Miami were detailed by Prince, the same parties 3 witnesses had testified about. I watched Diddy's expression during the recording. His confidence vanished in seconds. His eyes grew. Diddy stared blankly as his lawyer whispered something. Prince's voice grew urgent throughout recording. He called these parties' behavior criminal. I observed their operation. I know who's involved. I've seen injuries. Diddy felt each statement like a punch. This recording's impact is immense. Prince didn't merely repeat prosecutors' claims. He provided unchallengeable insider verification. Dead men can't be cross-examined. Your intimidation won't change his story. Prince described a specific gathering in December 2015. He listed guests, including 2 celebrities who had denied attending Diddy's private parties. Prince described the normal setting in the upstairs private rooms, matching the prosecution's opening statements. Prince's speech was the only sound in the courtroom. Even the judge leaned forward to listen. Later, court reporters said they'd never felt anything like that. The collective shock was almost physical. According to the recording, Prince tried to discuss it with him. "This must stop," I warned him. He laughed and advised to mind my own business if I wanted to stay in this field. At that moment, the prosecutor paused the recording. Perfect, almost theatrical timing. Diddy caught the attention of everyone in court. He had lost all composure. His face was pallid. His hands, which had been steady on the table throughout the trial, were shaking. His lead attorney placed a yellow legal pad in front of him to hide his emotion from the jury. It was too late. Everyone saw it. Diddy's veneer of confidence shattered as Prince's voice identified him. Since my 3rd album, I hadn't taken huge advances from record labels, which was big. I recorded the albums at my studio. I considered the job mine because I paid for it, completed all work. Making it, I thought it should belong to me. However, companies disagreed. They always displayed this document and said, "You signed it." I admit I understand. Not like I want to leave, just talking about this to see if we can make it fairer. Changing would make them disappear, so they wouldn't. We're in that situation now. They won't last long. No, we're not against them. Better collaboration is the goal. They shouldn't own the album or work. Intellectual copyright. Having a delivery service is fine. FedEx doesn't claim ownership of the goods they ship. Sean Diddy Combs' federal criminal trial continues with Cassie Ventura on the stand for a 4th day. The defense presented her with dozens of explicit communications this morning to convince the jury she was an eager sexual partner who met Combs' desires. One message said, "I'm always ready to panic." She was willing to participate in freak-offs and liked crazy stuff. That was their main goal yesterday. Have they proven that? "I'm always ready to panic" over 2009 texts. There were more texts where she asked him about FOs, referring to him. This looks bad to me. Timeline is key, though. Man, these are 2009 texts, at the start of their relationship. She was young. She was thrilled to say, "Oh my God, I'm with Diddy," during their honeymoon. "This is my affluent lifestyle." She'll say things she knows will win him over to keep it going. Everyone was shocked by more than Prince's statements. It was seeing Diddy crumble before our eyes. He was in charge for 2 days. He kept silent as accusers pointed fingers at him. He quietly whispered to his counsel as incriminating images appeared. He never cracked his carefully manufactured image, but Prince's voice altered everything. Once the recording resumed, Diddy's metamorphosis was stunning. As usual, Diddy's attorney, who's represented many celebrities, put a touch on his forearm to calm him. Diddy violently yanked his arm away, spilling water from a defense table glass. Several jurors looked at each other in response. In real time, the guy who built an empire on calmness was unraveling. A courtroom sketch artist told reporters she'd never seen a witness's body language shift so much throughout evidence. Diddy's breathing became heavy and uneven, and the back row could see his shoulders moving swiftly. His gaze flew around the room, looking for escapes. The judge focused on Diddy. He knew the indications of someone losing control as a seasoned judge who'd ruled over many high-profile cases. After shifting in his seat, Diddy unfastened his tie with shaky fingers. 3 of his attorneys huddled as he said something urgently to his legal team. Prince described an intimate Beverly Hills event. He specified March 9, 2016, and an address prosecutors had already documented. When Prince gave that speech, Diddy rose up abruptly, like someone had pulled him up by invisible strings. 4 security officials instantly approached the defense table. Attorneys tried to pull Diddy back into his seat by grabbing his suit jacket. Their expression was panicked. One attorney desperately spoke in his ear, while another sought to block Diddy from the jury box. The recording continued. Prince said he entered a room where he saw everything prosecutors charged Diddy with. His lawyers were desperate, literally climbing over each other to calm him. It happened. Diddy lost all control. "That's a lie," he yelled, shocking the courtroom. A reporter in the front row jumped at the quick and loud outcry. Totally absent. That never happened. The judge struck his gavel instantly. "Order! Order in court!" He glared at Diddy. "Mr. Combs, control yourself, or I'll disgrace you." The courtroom was silent except for Prince's voice over the speakers. That moment revealed the prosecution's approach. They kept this recording until Diddy was in a false feeling of security. They played the one piece of evidence that would break his meticulous veneer on day 3, when his guard could be weaker. It worked perfectly. If she wants to be crazy with Kid Cudi or Michael B. Jordan, she is. What keeps you coming back? Maybe it's insane, but she still loves Diddy. Diddy envied her. In addition, the prosecutors want to prove that they had a jealous relationship. She becomes jealous when he's with Kid Cudi. Cassie would also be jealous of Kim Porter, attempting to show that you loved him. That made you jealous, right? This was a true connection. Interesting to see Chris Brown. He's always popping up. His name is Chris Brown. All right. Last tale of the week. Last tale of the week. Justin Bieber is not Diddy's victim. The months preceding the trial were full of rumors like these. There were many rumors, including minors were involved. If no other celebrity was in freak ops, why are they hiding? But are they hiding? I doubt they're hiding. I guess other celebrities didn't want to participate. Nobody wants a Diddy tie. Even at Diddy's white party, where you're having fun, you don't want to be linked. No. This is why a few people have said, I didn't see any freak ops stuff. After the court restored order, the prosecution played Prince's recording. Everyone in court was surprised by what followed. Prince didn't accuse vaguely. He made 3 core claims against Diddy. Prince revealed he'd surreptitiously recorded music business misconduct for years. "I keep everything," he said. Who was there, when, and what happened. Been doing this since 2007, the legal experts glanced. These were not random observations. This was thorough documentation from a music genius. Prince's description of Diddy's house parties ignited the scandal. "This isn't just parties," Prince said, "calculated events. I saw him take young artists away from their teams and put them in circumstances they couldn't refuse." Prince identified a Beverly Hills residence and detailed a room layout that matched floor drawings and evidence. The courtroom was hushed as Prince continued. He was alarmed by how industry events exploited young artists. Prince said they think this is their big break. Before they realize it, they're trapped. At least 7 artists have experienced it. The second claim had Prince and Diddy fighting. "I contacted him at the 2016 Grammy after party," Prince said. "I informed him that it was happening and needed to stop. He laughed at me and said, 'Prince, you're not invincible.' I saw that as threatening." Diddy's attorney scrawled notes while this played, stunned by the discovery. Prince's account of Diddy's business dealings with purported silencers was particularly devastating. Prince cited specific amounts, $2 million to one person and $1.3 million to another, that matched prosecution financial data from early in the trial. "I saw the payments," Prince said. "I've seen their NDAs. This isn't simply rich people acting badly, systematic and calculated." Prince's expertise was precise, suggesting he had industry-exclusive information. Prince's voice grew gloomier during the recording. "I'm recording because I'm terrified to speak." The industry power structure shields him. Nobody wishes to believe what happens behind closed doors. This recording finished with remarks that chilled the courtroom. "If anything happens to me, notify the right persons. I'm not simply protecting myself, protecting those who can't speak up." When Prince's voice stopped, the courtroom was silent. Nobody moved. Nobody whispered. The prosecution had accomplished something remarkable. They made Prince their star witness from beyond the dead. The main prosecutor stood and said, "No questions, Your Honor." She didn't need to elaborate. Prince did what no live witness could, share long-buried secrets without fear. Their notebooks are in their hands. They're coming. They're vigilant. I think this is one of those testimonies where you have no choice but to pay attention and almost be flabbergasted, obviously, at some of what you're hearing, because it's not only insight into someone's sex life, but the details are disturbing, especially during the prosecution testimony. when we saw some of the alleged abuse or pictures of her after a beating, according to her. However, the jurors are focused. I see no one not focused on Cassie Ventura. I also saw them taking notes often. The children left the court yesterday with 2 girls crying. How emotional were they in court? Again, I cannot picture hearing my father or a close relative's sex life up there. Young woman. One of the twins lost their mother. Their situation is probably unfathomable, but I think that's something you think about on both sides, looking at Cassie Ventura's husband, Alex Fine, and thinking about him having to listen to all the things being said about the woman she was versus the person who's expecting their 3rd kid. I think it's hard for Combs and Ventura's families to support her, her brother, and her husband, Alex Fine. I've seen him take notes early. I watch him put on glasses. He's near the screen while they read text messages. So, he's focused. Ventura said she and Combs discussed swingers lifestyles, but the freak-offs were different. Yeah. She mentioned that Combs wanted her to witness him have sex with another woman. She said that it happened 2 or 3 times, but he mentioned it often. Today's testimony included Kim Porter. Why was that significant? Early on, the defense stated this case will involve infidelity, love, and jealousy. When they mentioned Kim Porter today, they did so. The defense asked Cassie Ventura, "Were you jealous of Kim Porter?" Ventura thought about it, but she stated that knowing Combs spent holidays with his family, which meant Porter bothered her. She admitted it. They noted that she testified about being excessively jealous as a girlfriend. So, yes, we understand the judge wants Cassie off the stand tomorrow. Will prosecution and defense get equal time? Yeah. I think she should be off the stand by tomorrow if there are no more motions. Why do you think they want her off the stand tomorrow? Rachel was initially told she would be on that stand for 2 to 3 days. So, here we are. Diddy's 7-second outburst changed the proceedings. Prince's legal team went into crisis mode when his recording ceased. His lead attorney rose instantly. He spoke to the judge somewhat shakily. "Please grant us a 15-minute break to talk with our client." Everyone saw the desperation. The judge acted immediately. Request refused. Court will continue evidence presentation. He looked at Diddy sternly. Expect no further disruptions. Attorneys for Diddy appeared stunned. They weren't used to rejection. Lawyers who charge $1,500 an hour usually obtain what they want in court. They had no luck today. The prosecution couldn't hide their satisfaction. The lead prosecutor looked professional, but her second chair smiled as Diddy shouted. Their short glance spoke all. Their trap worked perfectly. They wanted and prepared this reaction, and now it was on the court record. A legal analyst 2 rows behind me said, "This is disastrous for the defense. They've portrayed him as peaceful and innocent for 2 days." That image crumbled before the jury. Judge spoke directly to the jury. "The tantrum you just saw shouldn't influence your decision. Feelings are not proof. All trial attorneys know that jurors can't unsee something." 3 jurors watched Diddy's every move after the incident. After Diddy's explosion, court security was cautious. 2 more officers stood steps from the defense table. 1 officer was behind Diddy's chair, within seconds of reaching him. Diddy suffered all day. The prosecution kept presenting Prince's recording-related evidence. They confirmed Prince's payments with financial documents. Witness text messages described the exact incidents Prince described. Diddy sat sweating in his fancy outfit. His attorney offered him a legal pad to steady his trembling hands. An assistant offered water, but he declined. He appeared sick around mid-afternoon. From confident to trapped, his face changed. The final blow occurred before court adjournment. Diddy's lawyers submitted an emergency motion to exclude Prince's recording, alleging it was altered and impossible to authenticate since the witness is deceased. Legal experts in the room saw this as a frantic attempt to undo the unavoidable. The timing of this maneuver showed his defense team's nervousness. Emergency motions are usually made when counsel have no other options. Legal commentators were already making big predictions as the courtroom cleared. One famous TV legal expert warned his producer that this will be the moment people discuss how the case was lost. Diddy went from defending bogus claims to losing control when told the truth in 1 day. An experienced court reporter nailed it. I've covered hundreds of celebrity trials, but I've never seen a case fall so quickly. Not just luck, playing that Prince recording on day 3. The prosecution had planned this superb technique for months. Court insiders said the prosecution had this bombshell ready from the start, but held it back until Diddy felt comfortable in court. They wanted him to be calm before dropping it. My prosecution team source said the first 2 days were about lulling him into a false sense of security. This is why the prosecution's case seemed ordinary in the beginning, not yet flashing their whole hand. Authenticating Prince's recording took nearly 4 months. 3 audio forensic experts were hired to ensure it wasn't altered. They created an impenetrable verification mechanism, since they anticipated the defense would immediately dispute its validity. Their analysis of Diddy's courtroom demeanor is calculated. Video of his earlier legal appearances revealed a pattern to the prosecution. Diddy was usually in control for the first 48 hours of testing, but he relaxed as they went on. Their bombshell was intended to hit him at his most vulnerable psychological point. Architecturally, the prosecution crafted its case. From the start, they established witnesses to verify places, dates, and basic facts. Next came structural elements, financial data, and texts. Everything was planned so that when Prince's voice played, every detail he spoke would connect to facts the jury had already accepted. Their presentation wasn't improvised. A judicial employee said the prosecution rehearsed playing the recording many times. They practiced pausing it, looking at Diddy, and making poker faces until his inevitable reaction arrived. This technique is catastrophic because they've made Prince the perfect witness. No one can intimidate him. We can't cross-examine him. One can't doubt his motives. Prince speaks more credibly from beyond than any live witness. The prosecution's masterstroke was timing this disclosure for day 3. When media attention in high-profile cases wanes, TV news covers opening statements extensively, then drops until closing arguments. They assured a media frenzy on day 3 by releasing their largest bomb when public attention may have waned. Veteran legal analyst. This wasn't simply about convincing the jurors. Controlling the public narrative was also important. They ensured this case would make news again. Once the court adjourned, the 2 legal teams' differences were clear. Prosecution papers were collected casually, with satisfied glances. While Diddy's crew panicked, some made urgent calls, and others feverishly read legal documents. The power balance changed completely in minutes. One moment, Diddy was a formidable music mogul fighting claims. The following, he was frantic as a music legend's testimony shattered his carefully created image.